We have reactions on the retiring of the Crusader mascot, and they've been mixed. See what some students and alumni had to say.
And Voodoo Comedy is having their campus comedy showcase.
Will warmer temperatures approach Valpo? Find out coming up.
We have that and more. This edition of 15 News at 5 starts right now. Thank you for joining us on 15 News at 5. I'm Heather Bricka.
And I'm Blake Harms.
Last week, the university announced the retiring of the campus mascot, the Crusader. This was met with a mix of responses from students, staff, parents, alumni, and other people. Some pleased with the initiative, others not so much, given the timing of this decision. We interviewed a few students and alumni to see their opinions on the subject.
I feel really good about it. I think it was a long time coming and something that, being on Student Senate, we had been talking about and working towards. And I'm happy the university made the decision to retire a mascot that wasn't seen as inclusive to all faiths. And I think that speaks to Valpo as a university really trying to be as inclusive as possible and bring everybody together.
I'm really happy about the mascot changing. As a senior, I've been reflecting a lot about my time at Valpo, and I love Valpo. I love the people and my professors and the lessons that I've learned here. But at the same time, I feel conflicted because this place, which I have grown to love, celebrates this image that brings me pain. So it's this paradox, I feel.
I feel genuinely proud that they're retiring the mascot, just because personally I feel the Crusader mascot doesn't necessarily reflect the values that we're trying to go forward as a university. While we are a Christian university, having a really important foundation of faith, I've had peers in my classes that don't identify as the Christian faith, and that's okay. We're very inclusive. So I strongly feel by retiring the mascot, it really gives a better image of the inclusivity that we're trying to move forward with.
Personally, I think that is a good idea because it represents something negative, and we as a university promote love and unity. So we should not have a mascot that is negative or has any negative connotations behind it because it's insensitive and kind of hypocritical to what we're trying to promote. And then we are like a Lutheran university, but we do want to promote like diversity in religions, but then having a mascot that so clearly represents something that isn't that in both the past and the history of the Crusader.
I think for a university that heavily emphasizes creating a space that is safe and welcoming and understanding of all cultures, diversities, backgrounds, and sexual identities, I think it is a very good move in the right direction because through Crusades were a horrible event in the past. And the Crusader is a direct representation of that. And I think that can be very harmful to many different groups on campus. So I think that is a very good step in the right direction.
Now, this isn't the first time that Valpo has changed their mascot. Natalie Vernon has a brief history about these changes from the archives.
Valparaiso University did not always have a mascot, or sports writers would call the athletic teams different nicknames, such as Brown and Gold and the Hilltoppers. In 1934, the university decided on the mascot of the Ulan because of our school's Lutheran heritage. The Ulan was the name of a cavalry unit in Germany and Poland in the 18th and 19th centuries. However, with the start of World War II, there was much backlash at having a German warrior as the school's mascot, so we were renamed as the Crusaders. There has always been some criticism about the Crusader being our mascot ever since it was adopted. Though some see the Crusader as a shining warrior that fought for the glory of Christianity, others see it as a brutal killer of those who did not convert to Christianity. There has been talk of retiring the Crusader for years, and the mascot has been slowly faded out of merchandise, graphics, and other parts of the university for a while now, being replaced by the Shield of Character. We may not know what our mascot will be in the future, but we will continue to strive to make the university a welcoming place for everybody.
Voodoo Comedy is offering a campus comedy showcase, Voodoo Palooza. Voodoo Palooza is an opportunity for you to showcase your comedic skills, whether it's stand-up, sketch comedy, or the best knock-knock joke in town, which I know a few of, or something in between. They want to give you the spotlight. This one-night comedy event welcomes submissions from across campus. To submit a video, you can email voodoo.valpo@valpo.edu to get a submission form. The deadline for submission is Sunday, February 28th at 11:59 p.m. Voodoo Palooza will take place on Saturday, March 20th from 8 to 11 p.m. in the Union Ballrooms.
This week's poll is out. What is your favorite Valentine's Day gift? Is it flowers, chocolate, jewelry, or just a card? Head on over to our Twitter page after the broadcast to cast your vote. Now we have 15 weather Nick Sorkowski in the studio. When is it going to start to warm up?
Well, it probably will warm up next week, but I'll get to that in my 7-day forecast coming up. As we can take a live look right now here at Valpo, as you can see, we do have all that snowpack still on the ground. Around 2 feet of snow is currently on the ground, and our current temperatures here in Valpo are at 21. All the temperatures around the region are in those low to mid 20-degree temperature range. And as we take a look, we did have a couple flurries pass through us earlier today. Most of that has moved off to the east. As you can see, the main system is here in New York, Boston, up into Toronto, and we do have a little bit of snow there in the middle of the lower peninsula of Michigan. So a low for tonight, as you can see, we're going to be down a low of 0 with cloudy skies. And as we move into tomorrow, partly to mostly cloudy skies with a high of 17. And I'll throw that back to you guys.
Nick, a lot of exciting weather. It just never ends.
Yep, just more snow and more cold.
More snow, more cold. Same old, same old. While civilians are helping local healthcare workers in surprising ways.
And NASA's Mars rover is expected to reach Mars soon. Stick with us. A group of Good Samaritans in Helena, Montana got the nickname Snow Angels. And this is how they earned it: by cleaning snow from the vehicles of local healthcare workers. The group's organizer says she got the idea from Instagram. So she got together family and neighbors to go to the city's St. Peter's Hospital twice a day and clean off cars. One, quote, snow angel says that given what healthcare workers go through these days, that's the least the group can do. Some nurses said those small acts of kindness mean the most. The project started with 10 volunteers, but now it's grown to 40.
Well, meanwhile, NASA's most sophisticated rover has officially landed on the surface of Mars as of today. Perseverance has been traveling through space since the end of July. Once on Mars, it begins a 2-year mission. The rover will search for signs of ancient life and study the planet's climate and geology. The spacecraft also has Ingenuity on board, the first helicopter that will fly on another planet. It's expected to have 5 test flights during a 30-day period, but before all that happened, Perseverance had to go through the infamous 7 minutes of terror, where it landed on Mars without help or intervention from NASA teams on Earth. This is NASA's 9th landing on Mars, and fortunately all went according to plan. Now, weeks after landing, cameras and microphones on the spacecraft will show the rover's perspective for the first time.
This little dog is lucky to be alive. After getting ripped from her house during a deadly tornado in North Carolina Tuesday, she is a Yorkshire Terrier named Penny, and she lives in the coastal county of Brunswick, south of Wilmington. Her owner, Brittany Memory, says the tornado sounded like a freight train outside. When Memory heard, she grabbed her son and ran into a closet.
And I looked and I didn't have time. If I'd have waited even a second, me and my son would have been out the back door, and I didn't have time to grab Penny, and she went flying with you can see our mattress. I actually had a headboard sheets, covers, all of that good stuff that went flying out with her. She was just bundled up in it. Once it was over, she was actually missing for a few hours.
3 people were killed and 10 others are injured in the tornado.
Just a crazy variety of weather that's occurring across the country.
Just across the country.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming up, Nick's going to tell us if we can finally get a break in our 7-day forecast.
And we'll take a look at this past week's Valpo and national sports. Stick with us.
As we take a look at our weather headlines, cold temps will continue through the next couple of days. We do have a chance for more snow this weekend, but we do have a warm-up on the way. We'll look at that in the 7-day forecast coming up. So as we look at our snowfall reports from this past weekend, as you can see here in Valpo, we hit a total of 18 inches over the course of a couple days. Evanston, Illinois, 18 inches, Midway, 17.7, and then Lincoln Square at 17.6 itself. As we take a look again at our current temperatures, all our temperatures are kind of staying around that 20-degree range. As here in Valpo, we are currently 21. Our warm spot is over there in Joliet at 24 degrees. As I take a look at our regional temperatures, Minneapolis 14 degrees, Fargo 10 degrees. Everyone is still kind of in that mid to low 20-degree range after those cold spurts that did happen this past week all the way down into Texas. Our current wind speeds around the region, we don't really have a factor for a wind chill, as here in Valpo, we are around 8 miles per hour, Rockford 9, so everyone's kind of in that 5 to 10 mile per hour range. As we take a look at our future wind gusts, as you can see here overnight into the early morning hours, we do have a chance for a little bit stronger wind gusts, around 10 to 15 to maybe 20 mile per hour wind gusts. Watch out in the morning as temperatures will be a little cool. And then as we move into Friday, into late Friday evening, as you can see, our wind gusts still stay around that 10 to 15 mile per hour range. So we do have that possibility of wind chills being around a 5 to 10 degree range. And as we move through Friday night into early Saturday morning, those winds do kind of move out of the region as the pressure drops and winds come back Saturday a little bit stronger morning at 13 miles per hour. Radar currently in the region, as you can see, lake effect snow is currently affecting the Chicago region. Out to our east over there in Three Rivers, that is a snowfall that we did see earlier today. And then as we move to our regional region, as you can see, the lower peninsula of Michigan still has that snow moving around. And now we take a look at our future radar. Clouds and snow shouldn't be a factor. We'll just have a couple stray passing clouds for most of Friday into Saturday. And we'll just have those passing clouds kind of affect our temperature a little bit overnight, as we could stay a little bit more milder as the clouds keep the warmer temperatures warmer in quotation marks. Obviously, it's still going to be a little bit cold. And we still have temperatures going down to the single digits overnight tonight. Into tomorrow, temperatures go back up into the 20s, and then followed by temperatures falling again Friday night into Saturday morning. And then on Saturday, they will go back up into the 20s. So for tonight, again, cloudy skies with a low of 0. And then tomorrow, partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies with a high of 17. As you can see, we take a look at that 7-day forecast. Our best chance of snow is late Sunday evening with probably around 2 to 3 inches of snow expected. But after that snowfall, as you can see, early next week through late next week, temperatures do go back up into the mid to low 30s. So possibly we lose some of that snowpack.
Nice to finally see some temperatures above freezing. It'll be interesting to see if we can actually achieve that with a 2-foot snowpack.
Right, and then once it starts melting, if it's going to refreeze, it's going to make the roads just a total icy mess.
So much fun.
Yes.
So much fun.
Well, thank you, Nick. After the break, we'll have a recap of this past week's sports.
All right, well, Valpo sports are officially in action for the spring. Softball started their season last Friday in a matchup against DePaul, but would fall 8-0. Valpo would play 2 games the next day and win 1 against Western Illinois while losing the second game to Kansas City. The team finished the weekend tournament on Sunday with a loss to Kansas City by a score of 10-2. Their next action will be the weekend of the 27th in Nashville. Volleyball had 2 matches this past week against Southern Illinois. In the first match, it was all tied up 2-2 after 4 games, but would fall 3-2. The second game for Valpo was on Monday, where they were looking to come back with a win. After losing the first game, Valpo would go on to win the match 3-1. Men's basketball was in action 3 times this week with 2 games at UNI this past weekend. Valpo would win the first game by a score of 70-57, with 6 of Valpo's players scoring more than 8 points each. The second game of the weekend would prove to be a better outcome for the Panthers, as they would go on to beat Valpo by a score of 74-60. Valpo would have one more game this week as they look to knock off nationally ranked Loyola Chicago. Valpo would lead Loyola by a score of 29-26 at halftime. A back-and-forth battle would ensue in the second half. However, Valpo would hit a dry streak towards the end of the game to allow Loyola to pull ahead and win by a score of 54-52. A tough loss for the Crusaders. For Valpo. In national sports, this past Sunday, the 63rd annual running of the Daytona 500 took place. 30,000 fans were in attendance for the largest sports crowd since COVID-19 first affected the sports world. The race had a rocky start as on lap 14, a 16-car wreck happened, knocking out many possible race winners and fan favorites. Shortly after, rain and lightning moved into the area. A red flag of over 5.5 hours forced the race to finish past midnight Eastern Time. A last lap crash from the leaders allowed for Michael McDowell to capture not only the Daytona 500, but his first ever NASCAR Cup win in over 350 tries. And I tell you what, that post-race celebration is what it's all about. Just him screaming in victory lane.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, after trying 350 times, I mean, I would want to win too.
You know, if you're going to get your first win, Daytona's the place to do it.
You know, honestly,
Yeah.
couldn't agree more.
Exactly.
All right, well, thank you, Blake. After the break, Nick will have a final look at the weather.
One last look at the 7-day forecast. A couple more chilly days ahead of us, but snow Sunday night. Looks like it's going to bring in some warm temperatures for the rest of the week coming up.
Watch out for those falling icicles. Those will get you when it's
Oh, yeah.
I have a lot of icicles on my house right now that are...
Kind of take the dash, cover your head when you run out of the house.
I have a 2-story icicle going from my roof all the way down to
You might want to break that before it actually falls.
It's about 6 inches thick, so I don't know if I can gonna be able to do that one.
You got challenges ahead.
All right, well, thank you, Nick. Now, this semester, we are proud to announce the return of our Student Organization Spotlight. This week, we decided to shine a spotlight on a fellow campus media organization, The Torch. We sent Ryan Glassman to learn more.
For this week's Organization Spotlight, we sat down with Becca Wireman, the editor-in-chief of The Torch.
Yeah, The Torch is a student-led newspaper. We print weekly. We keep the campus updated on all things news. We have a news section, feature section, sports section, A&E, and opinions. So we just keep the campus updated and strive to, put the news out. The next one will be coming out Monday. They print every Monday, and we have production nights every Thursday. If you're interested in writing or photography or just getting in to know how our process works, you could email me at becca.wireman@valpo.edu or the Torch account at torch@valpo.edu.
If you have a student organization that you would like us to spotlight, send an email to vutvproductions@valpo.edu.
Some great folks over there at The Torch. They do a great job.
They do.
Well, thank you from all of us at VUTV. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next Wednesday on 15 News.